Over the years on massive social media platforms such as TikTok and YouTube, a large amount of parents have faced a barrage of criticism from people on the internet for some of the most obscene and insane things that you could possibly think of. From parents being accused of faking the kidnapping of their own child, to TikTok parents just doing absolutely anything they can to use their kids for internet fame, TikTok and YouTube parents and even parents on Instagram over the years have given themselves a really terrible reputation. And today's story that we're going to be looking into and going through in a big deep dive really isn't much different from all of those other stories, but the main difference being that this story in particular is probably the worst story involving TikTok parents that I have personally ever covered. Meet Ashley Trevino, another TikTok parent who over the last year has gained a large follow count of a combined amount of over 1 million followers. And on the face of it, Ashley is just your regular run-of-the-mill TikToker who is known for begging for money on TikTok live streams and just in general getting up to her usual shenanigans on these streams. Yet Ashley, throughout 2024 and into 2025, has faced a large amount of criticism for some of the controversies that she's got herself into, where Ashley has been criticized for some rather concerning actions. And as you go further down this rabbit hole, you will continue to discover an incredibly disturbing story that I want to explore today. Because since 2024, Ashley Trevino has been pretty much going viral for all the wrong reasons. And usually when I go through these types of stories involving some terrible TikTok parent that's got themselves into some insane controversy, I usually start the video by saying this is an example of a regular person who has had their brain completely rotted by social media. It's something that happens quite a lot when somebody is just, working a regular job, they accidentally stumble on fame on TikTok, and then the algorithm rots their brain and they just do the absolute most insane things for money. Take the Hark-Tur girl, for example. I have no doubts that this was just a regular individual at one point, but the moment she discovered the TikTok algorithm, the monetization system on TikTok and YouTube, that undoubtedly unhinged her and led her to pretty much the great crypto heist of 2024. But today's story with Ashley Trevino is actually not a case of that. No, instead, this is a case of the internet making probably the wrong individual famous. So sit back and relax as I tell you the story of Ashley Trevino, the TikTok inmate hopper. And please also subscribe to the channel. I would really like to hit 1.1 million subscribers sometime soon, and we are really close, and it would help me very, very much. And if you want to even go even further, please put a comment down below and maybe even drop a like on the video. Thank you very much. Now, whenever I do one of these big TikTok deep dives, the first thing that I like to do is to ask the question of who is the individual that we're actually speaking about today. And not really who are they on social media, but who were they before social media? So yes, the question is, who actually is Ashley Trevino? Well, Ashley Trevino is a 35-year-old TikToker from Texas, but before TikTok, obviously, Ashley had her own entire life. For example, in 2009 and the early 2010s, Ashley had 2 children, and these 2 children, as you can probably imagine, will come into this story quite a lot, as they have been the subject to a lot of controversy that Ashley has gotten herself involved with over the years. But moving away from that, we need to quickly mention the father of those children, and that is a man named Israel. Now, before they had children and before all of the social media shenanigans, Israel and Ashley were childhood sweethearts and they met at high school. But sadly, Israel and Ashley were no longer together in 2015. As you can see, Ashley posted, "My high school sweetheart, but now soon to be my ex-husband. I always cared about him and he don't even know that." And then in 2017, Ashley went on to confirm their divorce by stating, "My divorce was finally finalized after 9 years of marriage." Now, I should just say I am not just needlessly e-stalking this woman. There is a lot of reasons to why we're going through this, and they will kind of show themselves towards the later parts of this video. So yes, in 2015, Ashley was a single mother working a job in a hotel, which seemingly was actually going very well for her. As Ashley said, she loved her time working at the said hotel. It's honestly a pretty humble beginning, and it does come down to the thing that I mentioned earlier of a lot of people out there before social media are relatively normal individuals that will have, the same sort of issues that we all go through. Divorce, having kids. That's not an issue, but it's something that a lot of people go through. But then In 2016, I noticed something which you could consider the first red flag, which will definitely play into a lot of the things that we'll speak about in this video. You see, newly single Ashley made a post on Facebook in 2016 stating that she is job hunting, and if anyone knows any positions to let her know, and someone then made a comment asking if she would like to come work in a prison, in a count room keeping up with the inmates and their housing. Only catch is working for the state and you get paid once a month. And then Ashley promptly responded with, "Really? Are they hiring?" And yes, if you know anything about this situation or Ashley Trevino in general, you will know that this is probably the biggest red flag that Ashley had in her past prior to social media, because to cut a long story short, on social media nowadays, Ashley is known as the Inmate hopper, which again, we will explain as we go further down this chronological timeline. But getting back to it, with Ashley's divorce finally settled and Ashley deciding to get back into the dating world, in January 2017, Ashley announced that she was happy and in a new relationship. As you can see in this Snapchat that she posted on her Instagram, OMG, it's official. He asked, and I said yes. Haven't dated in 2 years, and I'm so blessed and happy to see where this road takes us. I have an amazing boyfriend. And then she says he treats the kids well, and that he is 30 and so sweet, and that she has finally found her king. And then very shortly after this, Ashley even got his name tattooed. Yes, it was an absolutely beautiful love story that you would only get in a Hollywood rom-com, and it was blossoming through Ashley's social media, until Ashley then shortly announced that they had actually broken up in early 2018. And this again is a little bit of a red flag to the controversies that we will get into in the later section of this video, because it kind of represents to us that Ashley is a bit of an unhinged individual. She's willing to get into a relationship, immediately introduce her kids to that individual, and also get the name of that said individual tattooed on her own body. That tattoo is more likely going to be there for the rest of her life, and again, to cut a long story short, this won't be the final time that Ashley gets an individual that she's known for a very short space of time tattooed on her body. And with that, we then need to go back to the nickname that I mentioned earlier, which of course is the Inmate hopper. And I think now we've gone through the micro details of Ashley pre-social media, it's time to get into an understanding of why everybody on social media now knows this person as the Inmate hopper. So yes, the phrase the inmate hopper is something you will see quite a lot if you just search Ashley Trevino's name in your YouTube section bar or TikTok or Instagram. You'll have videos come up titled such as Ashley Trevino, TikTok's degenerate inmate hopper is dangerous. Ashley Trevino keeps getting worse, the inmate hopper. So I guess the question is, after I've said it about 50 times at this point, is, well, why is she known as the inmate hopper? Well, for that, we kind of need to define what this phrase actually means, and the short explanation is pretty much somebody who seems to have a bit of an obsession with dating people who are incarcerated, people that are in prison cells. Ashley is well known as someone that jumps between relationships with individuals who are in prison. And up till this point in 2024, Ashley has made rogue claims such as she has been in relationships with over 25 plus prisoners.
But last time I checked, so Jesse was number, I think he was like 20 something, like 25 maybe. And I've only talked to one more after him, so probably 26 in the last 5 years.
That is a lot!
And some individuals out there may say, well, that's her rage baiting for social media clout. And that's when I want to go back to what I mentioned earlier of, this video isn't somebody who's had their minds just completely rotted by the algorithm. Yes, I absolutely do believe that has happened here and there and very much contributed to Ashley doing a lot of obscene things. But I can confirm Ashley's love for prisoners is something that goes back before TikTok. You see, in 2019, Ashley made a post on her Instagram yet again stating that she will be getting married to a man in prison. The original caption stating, "Life has us in different paths, but just know he makes me happy and he's asked me to marry him, and I said yes. Future Mrs. Gonzalez." And then she attached an even more in-depth description of her relationship stating, "For those of y'all that know, y'all know lol, and for those who don't know, now y'all do. People are gonna judge us, but like we say, what y'all think. I have been here for him and plan on to continue that through this journey God has given us. Yes, he is away from me, but these years will go by so fast and I cannot wait to become Mrs. Gonzalez. If you don't like us being together, then feel free to delete me, but he wanted me to let everyone know he is mine and I am his. And for those of y'all that don't know, he asked me to marry him and got the blessings we needed to move forward with that. By the way, don't let those hate letters think it's gonna stop us. So yeah, on public record, this is seemingly the first event of Ashley dating someone from a prison, but honestly, I don't really have any doubts in my mind with what I've researched and what we're going to get into in the later parts of this video, that Ashley more likely has dated someone previously to 2019 who was in prison, but this is the current only available piece of evidence of Ashley dating somebody in the first part of this timeline from a jail. And something that you can note here is that she mentions that she was receiving hate letters for their relationship, and again, this was prior to social media, but it was clear even back in 2019, Ashley Trevino was making, I guess, waves for dating inmates. And yes, this is, I guess, when she started to get the nickname of the Inmate Hopper. And this is sadly just the beginning of an absolute just rabbit hole of pure and utter insanity. A few days after she announced her engagement to this prisoner, Ashley posted proudly about being a prison wife, stating her relationship is based on letters, time-restricted phone calls, and visits that are far and in between. I am judged for staying with a man that I could never imagine leaving. I go to bed alone every night and hold it down on the outside until he comes home. I never know when he will be involved in a riot or moved away from me. Despite all of this, he is worth the wait. A little spoiler for everybody. He definitely wasn't worth the wait. Now, the man's name in question here is Isaiah, and I apologize if I'm mispronouncing that, but what makes this really crazy in particular is only a few months after meeting Isaiah, she brought her 2 daughters that I mentioned earlier to meet this man. But what makes it even weirder is he describes him as their father, which is obviously an incredibly disturbing thing to do considering, well, he isn't their father. And there is something more serious that we're about to get into, but I do just want to say, as someone that comes from a divorced family, I do want to say that it is incredibly frustrating when a parent, or when you see a parent divorce from each other and then they get with somebody else, they may marry somebody else, and they try to convince the kid to then call that person mum or dad. To me personally, I always just feel very uncomfortable when they say that. Now, if you have a stepfather or a stepmother that you call mum or dad, that is totally your decision, and I completely understand why some people would do that. But if you're a parent and you are basically begging your kids to call your new loved one mum or dad, that is an incredibly uncomfortable and, in my opinion, inappropriate thing to do, and also very disrespectful thing to do to the original father. Again, if there are more reasons other than I just want you to like my new husband, I completely understand. Say, if that stepfather has been in your life for a very long time and you see him as your dad, that's fine, but if it's just the mum wanting you to like their new partner or the dad wanting you to, that's just very, very weird. But as I said, things only get more serious from here. Because when you discover why Isaiah was in jail, it only makes you more shocked that after only a few months of knowing this man, she got engaged to him, but also more importantly, introduced her kids to him. Isaiah Gonzalez was sentenced to 45 years in jail in 2010 for murder and 3 other extremely serious crimes. Now, take into consideration that she introduced this individual to her kids only a few months after knowing this individual, but then also remember that she is now trying to get them to call him dad. That is so unbelievably disturbing, and again, it's just the beginning of a trend of this woman seemingly just justifying or trying to sweep over extremely horrific criminal actions. And look, I understand that the prison system is extremely flawed. I know that not every single individual in prison is a bad person, but looking at this person's criminal record, you can see that these are indefensible crimes where he has taken the lives away from somebody and probably ruined the lives of multiple family members out there who have had their loved one taken from them. This is an individual who is meant to be in jail for 45 years. This person should not be meeting someone's kids after only a few months of knowing them, let alone getting them to call him dad. But also, my main confusion is she says that she's gonna wait for years and years, and this is basically her kid's new dad, and I'm just confused how that works, because if this guy's gonna be in jail till like 2050, how are parents' evenings gonna go? Are they gonna have to get the teacher to come into the prison cell? Is he gonna? I don't really get how that works. But let's continue. Now Ashley continues to make this whole thing even more weird when she posts about her new husband, stating, "Second look Saturday. Meet Isaiah. He was given a 45 sentence at 16 years old. Over the past 10 years, he has earned his GED, OSHA, Electrical Level 1, Construction Craft Skills, Construction Site Safety Core, all levels certifications." Wow, congratulations to him. I'm sure that's going to be great for him when he gets out of jail in 31 years' time, where all of those job roles have been taken by artificial intelligence. And hey, I'm not saying like that's a good thing. Obviously, I don't want AI to take over, but realistically, I mean, what does this even mean to me? This guy has committed a free but multiple criminal actions and taken somebody's life away. So realistically, I don't care if this guy knows how to rewire a plug. Like that's not really something that I'm interested in. And honestly, the person who is no longer with us because of this man's actions, Isaiah's actions, for all we know, that man knew how to rewire a plug as well. But Ashley doesn't care about that guy. That individual isn't going to get a second look. And Isaiah is also apparently a talented artist who wants to continue his craft by opening his own business once he returns to the free world. I mean, what, in 2051? Is the world even going to be here then? I mean, again, not to bring up AI and be a doomer, but like, I've seen where art is going on social media. I mean, at the end of the day, it's not looking good, to be honest with you. We need some rules and laws and regulations to come in, but I don't think that this whole art thing that this guy is wanting to do in 30 years' time is even going to be a job opportunity. Look, I hope it is, but I don't really think any of this is realistically relevant given the current trajectory, sadly, that the human race is going in. She also then states that Isaiah is pursuing additional degrees, and Isaiah believes that God will bring him home sooner than his release date, and Isaiah is ready for the day where he can get his second look. And look, that's great, maybe he will get a second look, but you know who won't get their second look? The individual that I mentioned earlier. The individual who Isaiah murdered. That person is never going to get a second look. His family or their family will never get a second look. And look, I believe in rehabilitation, but realistically, what she's saying here is just completely glossing over the serious crimes that Isaiah committed. I don't think that this is the best way to go about discussing these things. Sure, maybe she wants to discuss things like prison reform and rehabilitation and stuff like that, but realistically, what she's saying here is, oh, guys, forget about the crimes because he likes drawing pictures. It's like, great, man, great. I'm not going to mention other individuals. No, I'm not going down that line of even comparing, but there's a lot of people out there who've done bad things and they have also done creative things. It doesn't necessarily justify those things. Again, not a comparison, just saying, like, it's a thing. She also then went on to upload multiple videos of posting the kids calling Isaiah from home, and honestly, it is definitely one of the most bizarre things that I think I've ever seen. Because realistically, these children do not know this man outside of a jail cell. And yes, she doesn't either, but I guess I wouldn't care if the kids weren't involved here and she was just dating the man privately. But to involve the kids just makes you very, very concerned about the fact that this woman clearly isn't really thinking about her kids in the best way, in my opinion. She isn't trying to protect her kids from an individual who has committed a lot of dangerous acts. And shock surprise, on the 10th of January 2020, Ashley announced that things weren't going well, stating that she went to visit over 20 weekends straight, not missing once since she got put on the visitation list, but this weekend, I'm not going because I chose not to. Some things change, and I honestly don't know if we will ever come back from this. It's hard when you're not at fault, but I'm gonna continue to do what's needed of me and to be the best mum that I can be. Ah yes, the best mum that you can be is introducing your children to a prisoner that you've been dating for like 2 months who has committed some very, very serious, some of the worst crimes possible. Yeah, the definition of a really good mum. And this is something that you're going to notice throughout this whole timeline of Ashley, in particular when we get onto her social media. She loves to get criticized for very serious things and then come out being like, y'all, I'm gonna take a step back and be a better mum, or I'm gonna do what I've always done and be the best mum possible. And it's like, you can't just keep using your kids as a deflection shield from the criticism that you're receiving, but sadly, she will just continue to persist in doing that throughout this entire story. And yes, of course, in October of 2020, Ashley confirmed that they were officially divorced and that she was going to fix herself back up after being broken down by someone who was supposed to love me. Yes, I too am also shocked that the guy in prison for 45 years for serious crimes was not exactly the best dude to be in a relationship with. I, for one, am shocked that this didn't work out. Now, some people may be wondering how these two actually managed to actually meet each other, and I started to do some digging, and I found a TikTok where Ashley herself confirms that she actually met this guy before prison. It wasn't like she got the job that I mentioned earlier of working in a prison. No, in fact, apparently she met Isaiah at church when he was 9 years old. Yes, when he was 9 years old and she was 15 years old.
This is him when we first met, and this is him like when he first went in. He went in at 15. He doesn't see parole until 2032, and he's been in since 2010 because he is 29 right now. He's 6 years younger than me. I knew him since since he was 11. I knew him since he was 11 and I was like 15 or 16, maybe younger, because I was like 15. So he had to have been like 9 when I first met him. And they used to go to our church. So I remember telling his mom, because I always thought he was a cute little boy, you know, but I was older and I was already dating the kid's dad, so I couldn't be with him, you know. Once I got married, you know, I used to always tell his mom, because he grew up quick, I would tell his mom, like, I'm gonna be your daughter-in-law one day. I'm gonna be your daughter-in-law one day. She's like, no, you're not. My Flacco's too young for you. Well, then in 2019, I reconnected with her Flacco.
So yeah, she's kind of jumping between whether she was 15 and 16, and then she reveals that the guy was 9 years old when they met. Now, yes, the relationship they engaged in was when they were older, but you can't help but hear that and think that is an incredibly weird, and you can consider that predatory. I mean, what she says there.
He had to have been like 9 when I first met him. I remember telling his mom, because I always thought he was a cute little boy, you know, but I was older and I was already dating the kid's dad, so I couldn't be with him, you know. I would tell his mom, like, I'm gonna be your daughter-in-law one day.
I'm gonna say it for what it is. I mean, it's incredibly predatory. That's exactly what it is. And this clip here, I honestly don't know why this hasn't gone more viral. This is a absolutely insane clip, which shows that, yes, I mean, she had her eyes on a very young person, a young kid, a child. And this is incredibly insane. And this is actually probably the first time you've seen Ashley speak. And trust me, somehow it actually is only going to get even worse from here. So yes, on top of being the TikTok inmate hopper, she's also engaged in predatory activity. And I should just confirm that her relationship with Isaiah, as I said, is no longer ongoing. I don't believe she's had any contact with him since they broke up or divorced. And you are going to see another pattern of she just seems to get married or engaged to pretty much anybody that she's had any forms of relations with for longer than 3 months. And as weird as I've described her relationship with Isaiah so far, as you just go deeper down the rabbit hole, you will just discover more and more weird things, such as she was sending 120 photos of herself to Isaiah when he was in prison. And look, I mean, maybe there's some reasons to why she was doing that, but honestly, 120 photos does just seem a little bit excessive. But yes, this pretty much brings us through the chronological timeline, landing into 2024, where Ashley started to become a very well-known person on social media. So far, though, before that, you have seen that yes, this is a mother who is clearly willing to put her kids at risk. She has committed extremely concerning actions in the past on multiple occasions, and just in general, I would say say that this is an example of somebody that should not be given TikTok fame. Yet as the internet does, it has once again made the wrong individual famous. And with that, I think it's time to actually get into Ashley's social media empire. And I'm not joking when I say that. Ashley has millions of followers now. In her first week of just posting on social media, she gained tens of thousands of followers in a matter of a few days. She makes thousands and thousands of dollars every single week. This is very much a TikTok empire, and we are going to go through the entire rabbit hole. So yes, with Ashley established now as the inmate hopper, it's time to speak about her TikTok beginnings, and that actually starts us off with her relationship with yet again another individual, also known as Jessie. But before we get into that, I do quickly need to explain the feature which is TikTok Live. Now imagine Twitch streams but make them 600,000 times worse. Well, you have TikTok Live. This is pretty much a live streaming platform where a large amount of people get up to shenanigans. You've probably seen a TikTok Live clip here and there, and usually it's some of the most degenerate stuff you have ever seen in your entire life. I don't know what it is with TikTok Live, but it just seems to inspire pure and utter chaos. It is like the most beautiful yet also most cursed thing I think that has ever been invented, and just something about it promotes the idea of being a complete and utter, as I said, degenerate. And this platform, this idea of TikTok Live, is something that Ashley uses quite a lot. It is something where most of her clips seem to come from. And midway through 2024, Ashley started to gain a large amount of popularity due to her discussing her relationship on live streams with the said individual that I mentioned earlier called Jessie.
Like, what do you do? Like, where did you come from? Like, what's your story?
You haven't heard of Ashley Hopper?
I mean, the name speaks for itself.
Okay, so this is like my 5th page I've had on TikTok. That's a big page.
Okay.
I actually married somebody who was incarcerated in 2019.
Okay.
We actually knew each other from out here though, and he's actually younger than me, so we reconnected and I became his prison wife. And that's where I met a lot of the people that I talk to still. And it just went from there. When we separated, I got with another one, and then it just went on. So, yeah.
Wait, have you ever been with anybody that's not incarcerated besides your late husband? Like, have you ever taken one serious that's not incarcerated? It just doesn't pan out for you? You just don't want it?
So, my last actual relationship out here in the free world was in 2018. And we were together and everything. And then I started dating inmates. And I've had, like, guys here and there in between. But I don't know, like...
Is it like a game to you? Is it like a game? Do you take these men serious?
No.
I know you seriously spend that money because the T-pages say it.
I like being alone. So I wasn't that big on TikTok. But when my ex came home from prison, the day he was released, I had a whole bunch of people watching my live because I picked him up from the prison. And I gained over 30,000 followers within like a couple weeks just being with him. So that's when it started kicking off because people were watching our story and then a lot of females wanted him.
So yes, that was a very short and concise and brief summary of how Ashley originally got famous on TikTok by Ashley herself. It pretty much all comes down to the fact that, yeah, general audiences were fascinated by the fact that Ashley dates prisoners and she was dating a prisoner in Jessie who she had took home and I guess she was now going to live with. And the thing is Ashley wasn't just speaking about these things after they happened on live stream. No, Ashley actually gained a lot of popularity for live streaming when Jessie actually came home, and the clip itself is, it's quite fascinating to see.
You see the bag? What does it say? Look at the basket. Welcome, Jessie. Be good to her, please.
Now, immediately, this video weirded a lot of people out. Somebody commented down below saying, I remember when my ex came out of jail, and he literally just paid attention to me non-stop, wouldn't stop touching me or holding me. Jessie didn't show any interest in her. it's sad. And yeah, it is pretty bizarre behavior. As you can see, he comes back and pretty much just outright ignores her. Now, yes, maybe he would have been here previously in the car from the jail, but just in general, you feel like there would be a bit more of a raw reaction. It kind of just gave people a lot of off vibes about Jesse immediately. And of course, it caused a lot of people to say, well, this is most likely Jesse has been using Ashley for, I don't know, certain benefits whilst he was in prison, and this probably wasn't going to last very long outside of prison. And another thing that kind of confused a lot of people out there is Ashley was saying that this is her home, but as you can see, it very much appears to be a hotel. I've gone through all the other TikToks and live streams, and this, I don't think this is Ashley's home. This very much seems like they're staying in a motel or something on those lines. But of course, a lot of people are fascinated to see where this goes, and of course, we know at this point that Ashley has a trend of getting into a relationship and marrying or getting engaged to that individual within like a month of knowing them, and in this case, it was actually shorter than that, because within 3 days of Jesse being home, Ashley was describing him as her husband. It's so stupid.
Oh, tell Jesse to tat your face on him. I don't need my face tatted on Jesse. I'm good. I don't need a tattoo to symbolize what I am to my husband, as long as I know where I stand with my husband.
Now, as ridiculous as it is that they're calling each other husband and wife within like 3 days of living together, it kind of feels like a high school relationship. But putting that aside, the ridiculous nature, we're just going to put it, to the side. It gets even more funnier when you realize that about 3 days later after this, they had pretty much broken up.
Jesse's not a nice person. Jesse's a really mean, ugly person. Y'all don't know what I've had to endure the last 2 weeks, okay? I'm not wanting to bash him. He's not a nice person. Jesse let all these females make him feel like he was just the most man out there, using me for clout, because without Ashley, Jesse's not nothing. Without Ashley, there's not no Jesse. I made Jesse.
Shock surprise, Ashley's dating record of dating prisoners continues to be an absolute failure. Now again, I should just say, obviously every single person that is in jail is not a bad person, as I said earlier. But given the track record that Ashley has with dating seriously dangerous criminals, and also with the things that we're going to get into later in this video, I really don't think she picks exactly from the best crowd of individuals. And honestly, I feel like the best motive for her would to be, you know, maybe download Tinder, maybe download Hinge, but no, as you're gonna discover, things only continue to get worse as we go down this rabbit hole. But the interesting thing is this specific niche of content was doing very, very well for Ashley. Her speaking about these things in live streams garnered hundreds of thousands of likes in specific clips taken from the streams, and so many people were just in general invested in this situation. And honestly, I can kind of understand why. I feel like at this point, as I said earlier, TikTok Live is it's like real modern day freak shows, to be honest with you. I know that sounds a little bit mean, but it just kind of is. Like, I'm sorry, but when you go on TikTok Live, the stuff you get on there is just It's wild, and to see that there's this person obsessed with dating prisoners, and each time it keeps on going worse and worse, it's like seeing a car crash. You just really can't help but watch. Now, Ashley actually went on to confirm in a further TikTok the reason that they had supposedly broken up was because that Jesse was speaking to other girls in their social media DMs, and again, I'm not exactly shocked by this information.
Why did you guys break up? Because of social media. A lot of females were in his inbox, and I just didn't have the trust. I would tell him I wish he was back in prison just because I knew I trusted him in prison, because nobody knew who he was. Nobody was writing him. Nobody was he wasn't calling them, you know. Like, when he came out, I let him have social media. I gave him a little cheap phone. I told him, make a TikTok, babe, make a TikTok. And that was my biggest mistake, was to let him get involved in the social media life.
Yeah, obviously this is pretty bad, but at the end of the day, this is why you don't get into a relationship with an individual that you've known for around 4 days. And especially, this is why you don't get engaged to somebody after knowing them for 4 days, because you've kind of got to work out who they are as a person. And when, you know, you've been dating that person in a prison, you probably don't exactly know who they are on a day-to-day life. But a lot of people actually came out and made the argument that Jesse actually didn't cheat, and Ashley was actually just a very controlling girlfriend. Sorry, wife. And honestly, I kind of get the argument that people made here, because Ashley does demonstrate a lot of controlling behavior in a lot of her relationships, and in particular this one with Jesse, where she seems to get angry at him for having a password on his phone.
Pair this to this.
You gotta do it, babe. I don't know why do you have a coat on it?
Because it's...
Why do you have a password on your phone?
Hold on.
Now, I'm not going to play the next part of this clip for TOS reasons, but basically after this, she goes on to slap him, and it's kind of played off as a little bit of a joke, but I think it does kind of demonstrate to us that this situation is far more tense than it's actually being presented to be, and it very much does just show that Ashley does have an extremely controlling nature around her, and even if you're jokingly slapping someone, obviously that's not okay, and that can lead to some very serious situations where it progresses from a bit of a joke and it just gets worse and worse. And I understand that these things are kind of normalized in some relationships, but I'm going to say that I don't agree with that, and I think that is incredibly concerning behavior. And when you add that on top of all the other concerning things that Ashley has done over the years, it starts to paint a pretty nasty picture. And just in general, I feel like these two individuals, Jesse and Ashley, are clearly not right for each other. And also, I think I should just point out that the general TikTok audience also don't really like Jesse or any of Ashley's partners. And because of this situation with Jesse and with so many people diving into it and it going viral, there was so many live streams which had hundreds of thousands of people watching it for some bizarre reason. Honestly, I don't really know what you would even call this specific niche of content. It's like they did degenerate version of the Kardashians on TikTok Live, but yeah, it was getting very, very popular. She was gaining thousands of followers overnight, and because of that, Ashley started to get dubbed as a TikTok lolcow, which, if you don't know, is pretty much somebody that is only known for being terrible. It's not like they upload a specific type of content that we all come to, inhale or watch and enjoy, and then there just happens to be controversy on the side. No, her entire thing is just pure and utter controversy. And the conversation only increased after Ashley also announced that she had gotten Jesse's TikTok tattooed on himself. Yeah, she's progressed from getting the names of her partners to that actual social media handle. And again, it does just show that whilst I do think she is doing a lot of things for attention, it shows that this woman also clearly isn't exactly the most mature of individual. I feel like all the things that she's doing here, whilst you probably shouldn't do them at any age, I feel like it's something that 16-year-olds or 18-year-olds are known for, people that don't have much life experience. But then take into the consideration that this is a mother of two, a 35-year-old woman, you feel like she would be doing something better than this, but no, it just continues to get worse and worse. Because Ashley fired up some live streams where she claims that she believes she could possibly be pregnant with Jesse's baby, which obviously is the absolute worst case scenario, not for Ashley or Jesse, but for the baby, because I don't think anybody wants these two people to be their parents. I'm not trying to be mean here, but given everything that we've seen from their relationship and given everything we've seen that Ashley gets up to in her free time, I don't necessarily believe that this is a good environment for a child to grow up in. But yes, Jessie first spoke about this on a live stream, stating that if she was pregnant, she did not need Jesse to be there for the child, which, I mean, it's a problem in itself, but let's just play the clip.
I was ovulating the day after the day he came home. We can all be your baby daddy. You want to be my baby daddy? No, I already told Jesse that if I'm pregnant, I told him on the way to Irving. I said, on the way to Irving, I told him, I said, look, if I'm pregnant, because I told him, I said, I start my period in 3 days. And he's like, what are you telling me? I said, I'm just saying, I start my period in 3 days. And he's like, what are you telling me, Ashley? And I was like, no, I'm just saying, like, just in case, something happens and I'm pregnant, I don't need you to be there for me. I said, I can raise this baby on my own. I've raised 2 of them on my own. I don't need you to be here to raise my baby. I don't want him to have any updates or anything if I'm pregnant, but we'll find out. I've raised 2 of them on my own, so.
Now, I feel like this clip pretty much just summarizes a lot of problems with Ashley. She's gotten pregnant, which is obviously a massive responsibility, and it's her choice if she wants to keep it or not. And she says that she will keep it, but she basically doesn't want the father involved. Now, I understand that you may not like the father, but to be honest with you, I don't know if it's controversial to say. I personally believe that a child needs both their parents in their life, ideally. I understand that not everyone has that luxury, but if we're going to speak about a luxury that is available to a child, they should then get that luxury. The luxury being having 2 parents in their life. And in this case, I think if a mother was going to prevent the father from being a part of the kid's life, that is obviously a very, very sick and twisted and honestly, quite frankly, immature thing to do. But as we've seen, Ashley is definitely a very immature person, and I really don't think she is in the position to be having another child. And a lot of this just caused Ashley's audience to get very frustrated with her for obvious reasons, but one of the main reasons being that Ashley was simply refusing to take a pregnancy test, stating that she was scared and that she isn't going to do one. Now, at a base level, I can understand this. This sort of thing can be attributed to things like health issues, where you may be worried that you've got something, but you don't want to go to the doctors in case that is actually a real reality, and now you've got to deal with that. And with pregnancies, I understand that it can be a very nerve-wracking thing to take a pregnancy test in case it comes back positive. But the thing is Ashley at this point of time and pretty much throughout her entire career has been known for drinking quite a lot of alcohol, which obviously is fine. She's a grown adult and she can make her own decisions. But naturally, when you think you're pregnant, obviously the first thought would be stop drinking, stop taking any form of substance until you find out if you're pregnant so you can protect the baby. But Ashley went on the live stream and confirmed that she's going to continue to drink until she finds out she's pregnant, despite suspecting that she's pregnant and refusing to take a pregnancy test.
I won't drink past, once I find out if I'm pregnant, I'm not drinking no more. Once I find out for sure if I'm pregnant, I'm not drinking. I am off of it for 9 months.
Now in this clip, to me, what she's basically saying here is yes, she will stop doing these things once she finds out if she's pregnant, but she hasn't stopped them yet, despite suspecting that she is supposedly pregnant. Now, personally, to me, I think this is an incredibly irresponsible thing, as did the general audience at the time. A lot of people got very frustrated with her, it only reaffirmed her lolcow status, and people out there in general were being very critical of this person. Realistically, if she wants to continue to do those things, then just take a pregnancy test. Sure, it's gonna be scary, but what if you take that test after months of drinking and smoking and you find out you are pregnant and you have possibly damaged, when the child comes out, their life? And yeah, because of this, people were spamming Ashley and Jesse's live chats telling them to take a pregnancy test. But at the face of criticism, Ashley just responded by saying, in my opinion, very immature things.
I'm not gonna answer yes or no if I'm pregnant. That's not what I'm gonna do. You're gonna have to wait. Y'all are not anybody important to me. So for me to just sit here and say, no, I'm not pregnant. Yes, I'm pregnant. Y'all are not important to me. I don't even know you.
Now again, this absolutely just frustrated the general audience out there, and it started to basically build a perception that this person was just an absolute villain. Because firstly, she tries to make it look like people are exploiting her private information surrounding her pregnancy, when the fact is Ashley is the one that has been publicizing all of this information, and the reality is just the general audience is just concerned that Ashley is drinking on live streams while suspecting a pregnancy. It's something you're going to notice as we go further down this rabbit hole. Ashley loves to drink. In fact, in most of her live streams, she is drinking, and obviously, if she was pregnant, that would be a very worrying thing. So realistically, I'm not really sure what she expected from her audience here. Does she just think that people aren't going to get annoyed at her and mad at her, especially considering that she was the one publicizing the information that she could possibly be pregnant? But shockingly enough, things that only seem to get even worse when Ashley goes on to confirm that she actually is pregnant, but she isn't going to show the pregnancy test?
The pregnancy test. I know they want me to show it. I'm not going to though. They'll have to wait. So happy. Thank you. Will you make a wish list? Probably not. I didn't. No, I'm not gonna tell him, you guys. It's strictly me only. I mean, if he finds out, it's from y'all, but other than that, it's just me. I'm gonna do everything by myself.
Now, obviously, a lot of people were very suspicious about the fact that she isn't willing to show any test, and aside from that, I would be willing to say congratulations on the pregnancy, I guess, but things start to take a bit of a dark twist from here. Because only shortly after announcing the pregnancy, Ashley then went on to another live stream where she confirms that she has actually lost the baby due to stress.
Were you ever pregnant? Yes, unfortunately I was, but the stress gets to you. Unfortunately I was very sad, but I was happy at the same time.
Now obviously, if this is true, this would be an absolutely terrible thing to happen, and I would offer nothing but my condolences. But obviously the general audience didn't exactly believe Ashley at this point. Because people were turning on her. People had realized that this person had told a lot of lies during just a few months she started to get popular on social media. And some claimed that Ashley was, yes, making things up for attention. Some even went as far as claiming that maybe it wasn't for attention, but the main issue was actually all of the drinking and not stress. Now to this day, it's never really been confirmed whether this was a real situation or a fake situation. But given Ashley's history on social media of showing photos of her when she gave birth to her actual children, a lot of people saw that and thought, if you were willing to post things then, why aren't you now, even with just a pregnancy test? And there were also other concerning things out there, such as the father himself, Jesse, coming out and stating that he doesn't believe that Ashley was ever pregnant.
And do you believe she's pregnant or possibly?
I don't think so. No.
Yeah, because she over there drinking.
Yeah, I mean, you know what I'm saying? But, that's her life. That's why I say, this is the last time I'm going to, actually get out, like put this information out there. I'm not going to ever, mention her. I'm trying to get past it, mentally.
Right, oh, right.
I'm done with this already, you know what I'm saying? I'm done. I want to just move on, I don't want to get rid of my TikTok because that's the only way that I communicate with my daughter. We're on there, we message back and forth and Snap or whatever. But as far as this topic and that's, to me, that's already overrated. I want to move on, you know what I'm saying? Just today, three times was I approached in public, nah, I don't need that, you know what I mean?
So yeah, even Jesse is done with Ashley at this point, and he pretty much does just deny the fact that Ashley was ever pregnant. Now again, as I said, it's not really known if she was ever pregnant or not, but based on the amount of situations that have been fabricated over the last year involving Ashley Trevino, I personally am inclined to believe that this situation it is a little bit weird. There seems to be some fabrication of the truth somewhere. Do I believe that she possibly believed that she was pregnant? Maybe. But given the fact that this woman is so inclined to show every aspect of her life on social media, but she wasn't willing to show the details here, it definitely is very suspicious. And this actually does bring us to pretty much the ending of this section involving Ashley and Jesse's love story. It was a dramatic and wonderful thing that you would only really see in a rom-com. But yeah, Ashley and Jesse, after all of the controversy, seemingly were absolutely done. But, of course, as I stated before, this was just the beginning of Ashley's social media empire. All of this controversy, all of these theatrics, this garnered Ashley millions of followers, millions of views, and millions of clicks. She was having tens of thousands of individuals come into her live streams, donate money to her for some bizarre reason, and overnight, she was pretty much just becoming an international phenomenon on TikTok Live. I know that sounds absolutely crazy, but that's pretty much what she was. And because of this, I think Ashley thought to herself, what can she do next? What can I do to get more and more followers? And of course, it all comes back to the TikTok Inmate Hopper nickname, because Ashley started to go on live streams where she spoke about her other experiences with other prisoners, and she announced that she had been with 25 plus prisoners over the space of around 8 years.
Inmates have you talked to in your whole lifetime?
Hold up, you should have let me calculate this. But last time I checked, so Jesse was number, I think he was 20 something, 25 maybe. And I've only talked to one more after him, so probably 26 in the last 5 years.
That is a lot. What the heck? Okay, I have another question. Why do you prefer inmates?
I prefer inmates because I feel like if you're going to get hurt, it's better to get hurt while they're incarcerated than out here in the free world. Because like I just said earlier, my ex, Jesse, when he actually left and we broke up, that one hurt. I still feel hurt till this day.
Look, I'm not going to judge somebody for what they get up to in the bedroom, but you can kind of understand why this woman started to garner the reputation of the TikTok Inmate Hopper. And honestly, I think that she absolutely loves this nickname. I think she absolutely wants people to know her as this because it's pretty much her shtick. It's her niche. It's a big reason to why she's popular. And just having this brand around her is weirdly just gaining her more and more popularity. clarity. Do I genuinely believe that this woman has been with like 26 inmates in the last 5 years? Honestly, I'm not too sure. This is the thing with Ashley. She says so many things, so many insanely depressing or ridiculous things, and it really is hard to work out what is real and what isn't real. But what definitely is real is things in this story just continue to get worse and worse. Now, as somebody that has covered a lot of TikTok parents over my years on social media, whenever a TikTok parent starts to get in controversy, it absolutely becomes a massive trend on TikTok. Whether it's for negative or positive reasons, these parents get spoken about a lot, and Ashley Trevino was absolutely no different. Because aside from the inmate hopper reputation that she had built for herself, people obviously started to speak about the children that were in the background of her live streams, and people started to become concerned because yes, Ashley has a record of dating dangerous individuals, and I can understand why people would be worried. And a specific reason to why a lot of individuals out there were worried for the well-being of Ashley's children and just in general Ashley's parenting skills was in the background of a lot of Ashley's streams, there seemed to be a lot of adult merchandise laying around the house. When I say adult, I mean adults, and because of this, Ashley received a large amount of criticism, and I can't actually show these clips because of TOS, obviously, but Ashley has been criticized in multiple live streams for having these things laying around the house, with some streamers even claiming that Ashley's kids on live streams asked if they could name the toys.
Why do people support you when you have toys in front of your minor kids?
Do they use them?
They still touch them. What should we call
They
this?
don't touch that.
Why do they say, oh, what should we call this?
Now, because of clips like this, it obviously got a lot of people out there digging, because surely this actually can't be a real legitimate thing that Ashley's children were doing on live streams. Well, I've actually found some of these clips, and yeah, they are as shocking as you can possibly imagine, and I should just say I am going to have to censor a lot, mainly due to a lot of these clips are copyrighted clips with music in the background, so it may sound a little bit weird because I've had to get around the copyright system. But yeah, take a look at this clip.
Why is that thing charging?
Can you leave my Rose alone? Bro, leave my Rose alone. She needs me in a little bit.
What's her name?
Who?
The Rose. What's her name?
I haven't named her yet. What should we name her?
We should name her Haley because she's pregnant.
Ew! I don't want to name her Haley.
I mean, I don't care what anybody says. I'm not going to try and beat around the bush here. This is incredibly disturbing. This is just weird that she has this type of relationship with her child. And a big thing that I've seen a lot of people be critical of TikTok parents for is the actual boundaries that these parents have with their children, where rather than being an actual parent to the child, they've actually established a friendship rather than an actual connection between a parent and a child. And yes, when you're an adult or a bit older, I understand that that becomes more of a natural thing. Your parents become more friends with you. But when you have a young child and you are 35 years of age, I don't think you should be speaking to your kid in this way. In particular, her kids who are very young, bearing in mind they were born in 2009 and 2012, as I mentioned earlier. And clips like this obviously went absolutely viral. People were being concerned that Ashley wasn't parenting her own kids in a correct way, and based on the fact that she has introduced her kids to very, very serious criminals, it's hard to really bat away from that criticism. Now, obviously, as a kid, we've all discovered things that we probably shouldn't have at a younger age. It's just how it really works, and there's no way of avoiding that, and parents, they have to speak to their kids about these things. I'm not a prude saying that parents shouldn't teach their kids about things that will come in their adult life, but I don't think that's what's going on here. I think this is a very inappropriate way to go about this, and it is, for me, very uncomfortable, especially when you add in further clips that we will get into further down this rabbit hole. But because of clips like this, Ashley only progressively got more and more popular due to the fact that she was incredibly controversial, and even compilation TikToks with 20 minutes worth of content were made, merely documenting some of the concerning things Ashley said over the last 6 months in 2024. Now, the clips kind of range in like an insanity scale. Some are just absolutely mental, and some are concerning concerning, such as clips of where Ashley is arguing with her own audience about whether she should be taking care of her kids or drinking. Just take a look at this.
Guys, I'm at home. It does not matter if I'm drinking. Oh no, I'm not a POS because my kids are actually here. Thank you so much, Joanna, but thank you. Thank you, Joanne, for your little remark, but no, I'm sorry, baby.
Now, before I comment on what Ashley was speaking about in that TikTok, I want to point out something that Ashley is actually doing here with her hand. This is something that Ashley has become incredibly well known for. Pretty much what this is a hand signal where Ashley is pretty much ordering her audience to donate to her on her live streams. And the thing is no matter what the severity of the situation is on Ashley's live streams, she will be going like at the top of her life. She could be being accused of the worst possible thing. The police could be turning up. Something awful could be happening. And Ashley would just be like, it's hilarious, and honestly, with the clips I'm going to show you, you're probably going to notice when Ashley is just speaking about something, she will just be going like that, and I thought I had to kind of include it in here, because this is such an essential piece of Ashley's lore that I don't really care to go that much into, but in short, yes, Ashley is a serial e-beggar, pretty much like most TikTok live streamers. Now, I'm sure there are some good ones, but the ones in the genre that Ashley is in, they're known for just being controversial and pointing at the top of the screen, being like, donate to my degeneracy. And the thing is it works. These individuals are all rich. Ashley now has thousands upon thousands of dollars in the bank account. I wouldn't be surprised if she's even a millionaire at this point. And you'll see on live streams, she's flexing about, oh, I'm rich, I don't need to care. And yeah, right now you're rich, but honestly, in about a year's time, I predict that Ashley Trevino is probably going to be a nobody, and she might be known as that controversial TikToker from the past, but no one's going to be in her live streams in like a year or two. In fact, I just think the thing that people will be watching about Ashley is videos like this of where, oh, I want to go on an iceberg video looking at some insane TikToker, and what do we have? Ashley Trevino. But going back to what Ashley was actually speaking about in this live stream with her drinking, I actually do think it's fine for a parent to have a drink now and again. Of course, that's not for me to decide whether a parent does or doesn't drink. But with Ashley, as I mentioned earlier, her drinking has become a bit of a concerning thing throughout her audience. Not necessarily because her audience care for her, but it's because they're worried about her children. And the thing is her children are worried about their mother's drinking.
Speaking of Eviana, she just Snapchatted me, and she probably seen my drinks and probably is gonna get on to me because I'm drinking. She's probably replying back to my drinks. I cannot with that girl. She's like my little mom, y'all.
Now, if you don't know who Eviana is, that is the 12-year-old daughter of Ashley, being described as the 12-year-old mum. And this kind of goes back to what I mentioned earlier of I don't really think proper parenting is going on here. When you're describing your child as the way Ashley is here, to me personally, it is just a bit concerning. You're being parented by your 12-year-old. I get occasionally a kid can say some funny things, but the amount of clips I found doing my research into this topic of where the kids are telling the mom to get off live stream to stop doing something terrible, it's absolutely wild. And honestly, the description isn't that wrong. These kids seem to be parenting their own mum at pretty much any opportunity. It does kind of feel that these kids are embarrassed of their mum at times. Now, they may not say that on live stream, but the vibe I get is that they really want her to stop going on live streams and embarrassing herself and doing things which they probably shouldn't be doing. And in Ashley's online community, more and more people just started seeing more of these clips of Ashley just being a terrible parent and getting more and more concerned as more clips came out. For example, there was one clip that went viral of her daughter coming into the room whilst Ashley was on live stream, and she stated that she had just thrown up, and this was her own mother's reaction.
Santos, he never smell well. We just threw up. Why? You're lying. It smell like it or what? Bro, I was jamming to Nunu. What? What?
It's the fact that her daughter actually has to turn off the music and practically demand that the mum comes into the room, despite she has announced to the mum that she has just thrown up. Bearing in mind that these kids are 9 or 12 years old, that is a very young child, and the mother should be doing so much more. Ashley should be doing so much more when they're being told that their child is sick to this level. But Ashley just continues to dance and act all goofy on live stream, probably because she cares more about money than her own child. But the thing is it only continues from there. Because in another clip that went viral on TikTok, for some reason Ashley admits that when she was younger, she used to get jealous that Israel, the father of her child, used to pay more attention to the child than to Ashley, and because of that she started to get jealous of her own child.
Haley literally has been through like the bottom of her life. Like, I'm telling you, whenever we lived with her dad, I used to by the hair because I was so mad at her. Like, I feel like he loved her more than he loved me, and so like I took my anger out on her, and she doesn't even like hate me for that. Like, she doesn't even remember that.
I mean, I think it is very well known that it takes somebody very long to realize some bad things that have happened to them, in particular when they're a child, as these are young kids. And even when she's announcing these things that she used to do to her kids in the past, the kids even at this point are only 12 and 9 years old. So I can only imagine in a few years these kids will realize what happened and they will start to resent their mother, because what she admits in this video is absolutely despicable and indefensible, and this really does explain why so many people out there have called CPS on Ashley. There's even other clips out there of Ashley basically trying to make her daughter cry, and a lot of these clips, as I said earlier, are played off as jokes, but when you get the context that I've just shared with you to do with her being jealous of her own child's father and plenty of other things, you really start to realize that Ashley just in general is an absolutely terrible parent. And these habits only seem to get more concerning in other live streams that have been re-uploaded, where Ashley pretty much admits to drink driving, and she is fully aware that this is a bad thing, even getting to the point of where her friend is practically begging Ashley not to get in a car when she is drunk.
You're not going nowhere like that. You're going to end up on the DUI page.
No, I'm not, bro.
And then they're really not going to stop talking. Hey, I want y'all to be my witness that I'm telling her not to leave her house like that. Okay? Y'all are my witness, right? Hey, don't let your mom in your house.
Somebody said call the cops on her.
Y'all are my witness. I told her to stay her ass at home. Don't be coming for me later saying I told her to
leave me right now. Can you tell them
Hello? Oh, I can hear you. Oh, okay. Are you going anywhere or no?
I'll be right back. Be right back.
Wait, let me see the keys. I'm gonna through it.
Throughout the entire part of this stream, she's smiling, she's laughing, she clearly is aware of what she's about to do is a bad thing, and yeah, at the very ending, she seemingly gets in a car and goes for a drive, which obviously is a criminal action, but also another incredibly dangerous action. And because of this, sadly, Ashley only got more popular, because the more controversy you get yourself in, the more people are going to watch. It's the train crash analogy, or in this case, possibly even the car crash analogy. But maybe it won't be an analogy one day, with dangerous behavior being exhibited right here. And people in the comment section were even trying to find Ashley's address so they could call the DCFS on her. Things were just getting absolutely wild and almost to like a boiling point, but somehow it didn't end there. You feel like when actual real criminal activity is coming into things, TikTok would step in, maybe, temporarily suspend the account or even permanently. But no, she's just been allowed to continue her actions, and even at the point of watching this video, she probably still is doing these things now. But somehow things only continued to boil up even further when Ashley was clipped on Shock Surprise, another live stream of where she was speaking about a hypothetical situation of where her young children could possibly be speaking to an adult, and things started to engage in illegal activity, if you catch my drift. and Ashley stated she would not call the police if this happened.
It's like one of my kids, say Haley, for instance. She meets a guy. She likes him. She wants to do something. The guy asks her, how old are you? She says, I'm 18 or 17. The guy believes it. And then I find out, I mean, honestly, if I find out my daughter's doing something, I'm not going to sit there and call the cops. I was her age at once. I was doing it, so.
I mean, this is obviously and undoubtedly one of the worst things she has possibly ever said, and obviously, this is why so many more people are concerned about her kids. She says in this that these sort of things happened to her when she was a child, and I guess she tries to justify these actions in her mind by stating, oh yeah, I'd be fine if it happened to my kids because it happened to me, but no. You are the parents. You are supposed to apply your life lessons to your children so the bad things that happen to you do not happen to your children. You're supposed to protect your children. You're supposed to make sure that your children aren't subjected to the bad things that you personally went through as a child. And the thing that confuses me is just why would you even admit this on a live stream? I understand that controversy brings views and donations and stuff like that, but realistically, you could do anything else for controversy. So to me personally, I actually think that this is a legitimate admission of where she would willingly just turn a blind eye to these serious crimes happening, which is just despicable. I don't know if this is a way to cope with the bad things that happened in her past to her, but that isn't a justification for this terrible example of parenting. But the thing is the terrible parenting doesn't end there. Aside from the crimes, she's just outright a bit nasty to her kids, and her kids may now argue that, oh, it's a bit of a fun relationship that we have, we take shots at each other, but I'm sorry, it's very clear to me that Ashley is taking out her own insecurities on her children, and her kids may think it's a joke now, but in the future, who knows? This could cause real psychological damage.
Do you want lip filler?
No, my lips are actually big.
They're not that big, baby.
Okay, but they're big enough for me.
They're not that big.
Yes, they are.
No, they're not.
Why are you being a hater?
Let me see.
Okay.
This is an absolutely bizarre thing to say to your child, and I know some people may state that I was reaching with what I said previously about the damage that this could cause, but no, personally, I don't think so. When you're a kid, say, people bully you for having a big nose or even thin lips, those things absolutely do stay with you for the rest of your life. Whether you like that or not, a lot of us have insecurities that are ingrained in our childhood, and by the mother Ashley stating these things here, this is obviously, in my opinion, going to play into some very serious things down the line. And the crazy thing is, to me, is Ashley does now have the opportunity to be like a genuine amazing parent, because not only could she just emotionally be supportive of her kids, but she could also have the dream opportunity of being financially supportive. I feel like this is the ideal dream for most parents out there, where they can provide everything their kid possibly dreams of to them. They can take them on holidays, they can pay for their university fees, they can pay for healthcare. Ashley is now in a position of where she is rich. She flexes it in pretty much every live stream, so you feel like the minimum she could do is just possibly financially support her children, or maybe, take her kids on holidays. But no, another thing Ashley has been criticized for is Ashley went to Disneyland without her children, and this will start to build up a trend that you're going to notice of where Ashley just leaves her kids at home when she wants to go out and have fun. And yeah, I think parents can have fun by themselves, but in this case of Ashley, it seems she just abandons her kids at pretty much every single opportunity. I mean, even in this live stream here, people were asking her, are your kids coming to Disneyland with you? And Ashley just reads it and doesn't respond. And yeah, she ends up going to Disneyland and having a magical time, but it's kind of hilarious now because this is an infamous woman who's known for getting rich, but she can't bring her kids with her. It's hilariously terrible. But imagine being a kid and seeing your parents and family abroad without you, and you know that they absolutely could have taken taken you because they're rich. I mean, you could make the argument of, oh, maybe it was during school season. I mean, Ashley could have waited. Like it's not like this is a wedding with a predetermined date. She could have just thought, okay, we'll go during halftime or whatever you Americans call it, you know. She could have gone at a specific time with her kids and shared that experience, but instead, she just left the kids at home. And whilst this is like not the biggest of issues, I think it very much just summarizes how she basically puts herself in front of her kids in every single scenario. And look, I don't care what anyone says. I know I'm not a parent, but I think most parents will agree with me, especially responsible ones. You put your kids first. You have the responsibility now. You've brought these kids into this world, and you now have the responsibility of looking after them and, importantly, making them happy. From what I've seen during this chapter, Ashley is doing the opposite of that. She prioritizes herself in every single opportunity, and as we go further down this rabbit hole, that's only going to continue. Especially in the next chapter of this video, where we actually get into something known as the El Paso situation. And of course, things are only going to get even more messy. So the El Paso situation is something that can be considered one of like the major pieces of lore in Ashley Trevino's story. This is one of those things where a lot of people were then even further exposed into the life of Ashley, and just in general, this is really where only the chaos gets worse and worse. Now, what this pretty much was a situation on Thanksgiving in 2024, where Ashley took her and her children to El Paso, where she would celebrate Thanksgiving with her family. But a problem occurred when Ashley accidentally leaked her address, and some random TikToker came to actually fight Ashley in the middle of El Paso during Thanksgiving. And I'm not gonna lie to you, this is a bit of a confusing situation because I really have been trying to piece it all together and kind of work out why any of this happened, but honestly, it does just summarize Ashley really well in the sense of chaos at this point is just following her wherever she goes. Whether it's justifiable or not, Ashley Trevino at this point is just a walking embodiment of chaos. But to kind of go through everything, I've actually found this Reddit post here, which documents pretty much every single event that took place during the El Paso situation. And it helps because a lot of the TikToks that were going around about this situation and clips from live streams at the time have actually now been deleted or have just been buried in the algorithm. So yeah, we're going to use this Reddit post, but also try and get some clips in here and there to kind of just navigate throughout this story. So yes, it says the timeline of Thanksgiving. Ashley and her kids go to El Paso to visit her quote-unquote Tia, not actually her Tia, just a woman that she met on TikTok. Now, again, this can be used to kind of summarize Ashley's, I guess, carelessness when it comes to her children. She is just willing to uproot her life, go somewhere with her kids just to meet someone that she's never actually met in person beforehand. I know some people may not think that this is the worst thing on planet Earth, and yeah, don't get me wrong, it's absolutely not, but it's very clear to me that Ashley is willing to expose her children to just random strangers she's known for around a day via a social media message or even a prison letter. Tia's address gets leaked somehow. Now with this section, I believe this is more to do with Ashley again is very careless in her live streams. If you just watch her lives for about 20 minutes, you'll realize, yes, and some people actually do watch them for 20 minutes. I myself sadly, I'm in that category, but if you watch the live streams for like 20 minutes, you'll notice that it's really easy just to determine where Ashley is. And if you know how to use Google Maps or just, look at the background of any live stream and just search what's in the background, it would be really easy to find Ashley's location. And a lot of individuals during the last year of this pure and utter chaos have found Ashley's address just by looking in the background because Ashley is incredibly careless and just locating it and going then to try and find her. And in this case, this happens, but in the worst possible scenario. Now it goes on to state the actual adults at this Thanksgiving saying Ash, Tia, Tia's ex-husband Rob, and then Rob's girlfriend Steph, which, I mean, that's going to get into its own thing very soon, but then it continues to state they were all drinking and Ashley's two kids and Tia's kids were also there too. Someone then shows up to Tia's house to meet Ash, and Ash gets super excited to meet them and even offers to take them out to dinner. Ash then convinces the adults to go to a bar to go drinking, and then she decides to leave all the kids home alone on Thanksgiving. Now, I'm not an American, and I actually had to speak to my co-host about this on my podcast, Over the Pond, go subscribe, but I had to speak to them being like, isn't Thanksgiving basically another version of Christmas in America? I know they're being celebrated for very different reasons, but in terms of significance and in terms of spending time with your family, I feel like Thanksgiving is basically on a level with Christmas. For some people, according to Google, it's even an even bigger family event than Christmas. So to consider the fact that she has actually just left her kids at home in the middle of El Paso, a city that they don't even live in, to just go out drinking with her friends, to me is not only incredibly irresponsible, especially considering the fact that Ashley's address has supposedly been leaked, but also it's just another sign of careless parenting and not just putting the children first in pretty much any scenario. It almost just feels that Ashley doesn't really do anything for her kids in the sense of, prioritizing those children in times where maybe you do want to go out and have fun, but your kids are there and they are your priority. It seems in every single scenario where Ashley gets offered to do something and the kids are also there, she always chooses the scenario to go out and have fun over her kids. Now, some people may agree with that, but for me personally, when I see Ashley do this time and time again, I just feel further bad. Does that even make sense? I feel even more bad for Ashley's kids.
I honestly haven't even checked, what is around there. I should probably do that tonight. But I'm not gonna keep them cooped up or nothing. We could have chose to stay home and be with my family for Thanksgiving, but it's really my decision to leave.
I mean, I'm glad Ashley admits that this is 100% her decision. It is her decision to just pretty much ignore her children at any possible moment. But then continuing with the Reddit post, it goes on to state that Ashley and the adults drove to the first bar where Ashley licks an old white guy on the cheek, and that the Reddit post creator wishes that they were joking. Now, I don't really feel any need to show this clip to you guys personally. I've seen the clip, sadly, and yes, it is a real clip. There's nothing wrong with what's really going on there. It's just, I don't think we need to see this personally, and don't worry, I'm not going to show you, and if there's any reason to like the video and subscribe, it's the fact that I'm not going to show you that. Then it continues to state that Ashley leaks her location many times on live streams and leaves to bar 2 where she leaks the address even further. And yes, this comes into what I mentioned earlier of the fact that Ashley is well known for leaking her address in multiple scenarios of where she is out of the house, and it comes down to the fact that yes, she is incredibly careless, and 9 times out of 10 it doesn't really lead to any bad situations, but as I said previously, this led to a very, very bad situation. And with that, we need to introduce this TikToker here, Paso. I'm honestly, I don't know how to pronounce the name. I'm sorry if I'm butchering it. I believe it's Mariposa. Please correct me in the comment section. Now, basically, this is an individual who posted a TikTok that pretty much gave off the idea that she was possibly going to turn up to Ashley's location after the location started to circulate on TikTok. And you may be wondering, well, how did Ashley respond to this, subtle, I guess you consider, threat? Well, the mother of 2, who was in the proximity of her children for most of that day, and the address was allegedly also leaked there, decided to say,
Just that don't like me. How do you feel about that? I'm being in your neighborhood. Well, not in your neighborhood because I'm too rich. Are you gonna do? She's like, when you find out Ash Trevino's in El Paso, I'm in El Paso and I'm a baby daddy. What are you gonna do? Thank you. Go Texas. Okay? I'm in El Paso. El Paso. Tongue about when you find out Ash is in El Paso. It's a whole ugly ass. I'm in El Paso. Okay, and what? Because my lips are done and yours are not. You look trashy ass too.
Now, aside from what she is saying in this TikTok here, my main question is, what genre of content is this? I feel like when you watch my videos, you know you're going to get a commentary video. When you watch a gaming YouTuber, you know you're going to get a dude playing a video game.
This woman has lost it.
When you watch a news channel, you know you're going to get news. But with Ashley Trevino, I don't really know what you can consider this style of content to be. Some may say a streamer, but even with streamers, you know what you're going to get. Some go through the news, some play video games. But Ashley Trevino, I don't know what this is, and honestly, why anyone consumes it other than I guess that it is a complete and utter car crash, because yes, she's pretty much just encouraging this individual to come after her and have a fight. And I have done my research to see if there was any like background, I don't know, tension between these two TikTokers, but I actually couldn't find anything. I couldn't find any reasons to why this individual wanted to fight Ashley Trevino. So I should just firstly say, I absolutely do not endorse this behavior. Regardless of what I think about Ashley or what you think about Ashley, please for the love of God do not turn up to where she is. And the same can be said for any other influencer that I speak about. We're not the law, we're just people here giving our opinions on the internet. And as far as we know, Ashley doesn't have a criminal record or something like that, and we should respect the fact that we aren't the law. Even if you think that maybe there should be some repercussions that, you know, take place over the next few months, it's not up to you to enforce whatever law you think needs to be enforced. But aside from that, what really concerns me is Ashley learned about the fact that somebody was going to try and find her, and she encouraged that individual to come and try and find her, whilst also knowing that there were TikTokers going around spreading information that possibly Ashley's home address where she was staying had been leaked, and she still, whilst knowing her children were at that address, decided to go out and drink on Thanksgiving.
I don't know, but me and your mom are coming back. Just keep an eye on them.
Don't be long.
Y'all know my number.
No, don't.
Do you have Val?
You probably wouldn't even answer.
Do you hear that? Even the kids know how utterly irresponsible their own mother is. Imagine being in a city which you don't really live in, you're very young, you don't know the environment or where you are, and you know that if you get in trouble when your mom is out drinking on Thanksgiving, she probably won't even pick up the phone. That's how bad, I know it's quite brutal to say, but that is how bad of a parent Ashley Trevino is. When she tells her kids to call her if there's any problems, they know that she's just probably saying that to look good on TikTok Live. But the reality is she probably won't answer the phone.
No, I will. I'm on my other phone.
You still don't answer sometimes.
Order DoorDash for all three of y'all. If y'all get hungry, Whataburger or something, Jack in the Box.
The thing that frustrates me here is not everyone has the privilege of being with their mother or father on Thanksgiving or Christmas or any major holiday event. But these kids do have that privilege. Well, at least Ashley has the privilege to be with her children on Thanksgiving. But she's not only saying, I'm going to go out and drink, but she's not even willing to cook a nice meal or even just cook with them or just have the DoorDash with them. She's just saying, I'm going out, I'm going drinking. There's no, home cooked meal for Thanksgiving. I am just going to tell you to get DoorDash. I mean, I don't know if I'm just like reaching here, but it's just sad, isn't it? Like, I feel like when it is a big holiday, you kind of expect to eat a nice meal with your family if you are in that privileged position. And I can't imagine being 9 or 12 years old and my parents saying to me, we're going out for Christmas and we're going to go drinking. You're not coming with us, and also order Uber Eats. It's just, it doesn't fit well with me.
Well, I'm just saying. Love y'all. Bye. Justice for the victims. What victims?
Now that clip is in reference to something that we will get into later in this video, but I love, on top of just showing that she's a terrible parent, even when somebody in the chat is calling Ashley out for, I'll give a long story short, Ashley got into a situation where pretty much she was mocking victims of another and she was getting criticized for it, and yeah, obviously there she was getting called out, and even there she doesn't even have the goodwill to say anything positive. It's just, what victim? I mean, It just summarizes everything about her. But yes, eventually Ashley did get out and go bar hopping with her friends whilst her family were at home alone, eating DoorDash. And of course, the individual she told to pull up, well, she eventually did pull up.
What's up? Hey, don't be, you told me to pull up, huh? Right here, girl? What's up? Hey, don't be touching me, bro. Don't be touching me. You, bro, I will drag your ass too. Don't even go there. You're not. Get up.
Now, I'm just going to say it quick and short here. Obviously, as I said previously, don't do this. As much as you don't like Ashley Trevino, as much as you may think she is an incredibly intolerable person, do not do this for so many obvious reasons. But for number one, you just make yourself out to be a complete and utter bellend if you do this. You can criticize her and say whatever you want, but don't actually turn up into real life thinking that you're Batman trying to enforce the law as some weird vigilante. I know people may get into my conversation and be like, oh, she's done this and done that. I don't care. You're not Batman. You're not a police officer. You're not the law enforcer. Stop. Like, I just don't get it. Maybe if she was a journalist, I could possibly understand it, trying to do an investigation or something. But honestly, this is just somebody clearly looking for more TikTok clout. But also, Ashley doesn't help herself, carelessly leaking her address and also then encouraging people to come, knowing that her family are in El Paso with her. It's just incredibly careless and just shows that this person isn't really doing the best thing with her platform, if you didn't realize that already. And yes, shockingly enough, this did eventually conclude into a big fight where they just had pretty much a big old punch up.
And yeah, she pulled my hair. That's all she did was pull my hair. But obviously I still have hair, so she didn't pull that much. Okay. Safe. And she didn't touch my pretty face. Amen. But my kids were so worried because they were like, Mom, where the you at? Like, you need to come home. And I'm like, I'm coming home. So I felt more bad, and that's why I cried, is because, like, my kids, you know.
I mean, shock surprise, yet again, this is just another example of Ashley Trevino being an absolutely god-awful parent, where her kids were, as I said earlier, in a city they're not used to, home alone with their half-eaten DoorDash, worried watching their mum get into fights on TikTok Live, probably concerned that their address also had possibly been leaked, thinking, oh my god, people may come to our house too. Bearing in mind, 9-year-old and 12-year-old daughters here. It's not like these are people that could possibly protect themselves. These are little kids. And Ashley is just going out encouraging fights and basically putting all of her family in jeopardy. It's an absolutely wild thing, and you think after something like this, Ashley may learn a lesson or something like that. But no, I can confirm she did not learn her lesson, and pretty much everything after this just continues to get worse and worse. When Ashley comes home, there seems to be another fight taking place between the other woman in the house and her ex-husband, because yeah, as I mentioned earlier, she was in a really weird situation of where it was Ashley and her kids, her Tia's ex-husband, and her ex-husband's girlfriend also being there. I think another kid being there too. Really weird scenario, which I mean obviously is only going to ensue utter chaos.
It's crazy. No, I know, but they've already set it out.
He's always been.
I know. Where's your sister?
She went downstairs.
Your sister did not go downstairs.
I don't know where she's at.
Where the yeah.
I think it says all that you need to know about Ashley, that she's gone out drinking on Thanksgiving, she's barely had any contact with her kids, and she's gotten into a fight that she encouraged to happen, and then when she comes home to find her kids panicking, she doesn't even know where one of them is. I mean, the lack of responsibility is genuinely insane, and I don't understand how anyone could possibly defend this, but yeah, let's continue.
She went downstairs, I told you.
I'm gonna take half, I promise. All right.
My daughter's watching.
Did I tell you?
All right, bye. What are you doing, baby?
In my face. Get out. Get out. A towel.
Okay, we'll get a towel.
He's Hispanic. He's a little Hispanic Mexican. Has little man syndrome. He's got pock marks all over his face. He's ugly as well. Where's the towel? Oh my God.
Get the towel. Where's the towel you had?
Oh, it's upstairs.
Okay, just use that one.
Okay.
Before the cops come.
So yeah, there you have it. Ashley admits that the police are coming, and I imagine it's because of what's going on in the background there, which is probably to do with the two exes fighting with each other because one of them decided to bring their current partner with them. And obviously, again, I don't know, I'll keep on repeating it, but it does just show the lack of responsibility that Ashley has. She left her kids with these individuals who, from what I can tell, she barely even knows, or at least isn't exactly that close with. She left them there on Thanksgiving to go out, and she comes back to this and she doesn't even know where both of her kids are. It's wild, and it only continues from here.
Go upstairs. Go upstairs.
No, she saw what you did. She tried. She saw. Don't be him. Don't be him. He's 53. Kiki. Black shirt. Get out of my house. Get out. Don't. Rob. Get out of my house. Don't touch my Thea.
I ain't touching
Get out.
you.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't really understand what the background to the context of this fight was. As I said before, it probably has something to do with the fact that, yeah, there is two exes together and one of their new partners with them. That's obviously not going to be a situation that goes down well in any context. And obviously, things heated up when Ashley was not there. I have no idea why she decided to leave her kids with these random ass strangers who clearly were in a bit of a tense situation. Surely the mother would have realized that and thought to herself, oh, maybe I should stay with my kids on Thanksgiving. But honestly, all I can say again is this is just another depressing example of how sad this situation is. The kids thought, maybe we can spend Thanksgiving with our mum. Maybe we can have a really nice time, amidst all the terrible things that have happened over the last 6 months. Maybe this can be that one positive moment. You know how it is. It's Christmas Day. You kind of put all the family issues and stress, well, you try to at least until at 6 p.m. and the beers come out, but you try to have a good time, at least in the early parts of the day. But no, even these kids couldn't get that, and it just turned into a complete outright mess. Their mum were fighting individuals on TikTok Live, their address had probably been leaked, and now their home, which they were staying in, also had erupted into fights whilst the mum was also away. It's a complete utter mess, and this whole El Paso situation has really just been another stain on Ashley Trevino's record, where more and more people have become increasingly concerned about the well-being of her children, and I can confirm after this event, more and more people started to speak about the potential of CPS coming in, and that is still a developing story as I record this video. Nothing concrete has happened yet. There have been over 20 plus reports to CPS, but I should just say, as recording the situation right now, that hasn't developed into anything. Maybe by the ending of the video it might have, but right now, that isn't the case. But to conclude this El Paso situation, it just kind of summarizes how incredibly reckless Ashley is with her live streaming, letting the world know where she is and putting her children consistently at risk, which is something that she has done multiple times now. But as I said previously, Ashley did not learn from this situation, and if anything, she just continued to get worse and worse, and with that leads us into the story involving Santos. So shock surprise, in this section of the video, we're going to be speaking about, yet again, another TikToker. Introducing this individual right here. Yes, meet Santos, a 19-year-old TikToker who at one point of time was actually the crush of one of Ashley Trevino's daughters after, yes, one of the daughters told Ashley that she had a crush on Santos. Which, is an incredibly normal thing. I think when we were all younger, we all had, a little bit of a mini crush on some celebrity or actor. And at the end of the day, I feel like influencers are like modern day celebrities to kids, not including myself, of course. But the issue starts to come in from the social media aspect, well, when Ashley gets involved with this. You see, Ashley found out about the fact that her daughter had this crush on this individual called Santos, and rather than just brushing that aside and thinking that it's a pretty sweet thing and keeping that a secret between her and her daughter, something personal, something that you don't share, no, instead, Ashley got in contact with the person that her daughter had a crush on, started flirting with him publicly, and it even led to live stream clips like this.
How do you feel that your mom stole your crush?
Santos, how do you feel about being bald?
Why would you ask her that? Why would you ask
Santos,
her
I see that your
that?
hair falling out. I see your hair falling out.
Okay, y'all go over there. But for real, don't talk about gold, okay? Just leave it off of social media.
That's why you got the button.
Please. Please.
All right, you don't either.
I don't talk about her.
Don't talk to her either.
You are not going to tell me who... You don't pay my phone bill?
I'll pay it then.
I'll talk to whoever I want to talk to.
I'll pay your phone bill and all the kids' phone bills if you.
You can't. No, because first of all, you're telling my friend that you're gonna block her off her phone.
So what we have here is Santos and Ashley on TikTok Live together as Ashley's daughter is in the background, and I'm again just confused to what even style or genre of content this is and why anyone would actually want to consume this on a regular basis. But yeah, this is a really weird scenario that was going on here where pretty much Ashley had started to take a liking to this individual, Santos. Which to me is just a complete breach of barriers, because obviously any kid can have a crush on somebody older than them, but I think it's up to the parents to respect that, and if they even know the person that the kid has a crush on who's older than them, don't approach it, don't try to befriend the person, or even worse, do what Ashley is obviously trying to do. Just respect the fact that your kid, you know, they're having a bit of a moment, and you shouldn't just ruin that by breaching these boundaries. It's incredibly weird in my opinion. Imagine being 12 years old and saying to your mom, oh, I have a crush on this person, and then you find out a week later that your mom is now engaging in relations with said individual, but on top of that, she's getting on a live stream where that said individual is flexing to you, the 12-year-old, that your mom stole you from you. I mean, descriptions aside, it's just incredibly weird and shows how terrible, again, of a parent Ashley is, because, I mean, it's not criminal or anything, but it is just like, do you not have, like, any boundaries? Do you not have, like, any thoughts in your mind that maybe says to you, yeah, probably don't do this. It's incredibly inappropriate, and just, I can only imagine how it makes the child feel, probably just sad and let down once again. You know, they didn't get to go to Disneyland, you know, they didn't get to go to Thanksgiving seemingly, and now they're not even getting to just speak to their mom about the crush that they had. It's just disappointing. And the audience and myself have only really got more justified in our disappointment and anger in this situation when Ashley said this on a live stream.
I've already seen his beepee, and he's already seen my nunu. Okay?
Now, I haven't even gotten into the main point of this TikTok, which we're going to speak about, but even just this point here is just incredibly weird, considering the fact that there is also an age gap of like 35 and 19 years old. Of course, it's not a crime, but I think it is just still weird, isn't it? What business does a 35-year-old have with a 19-year-old? I remember what I was like at 19, and I was not a sane individual. I don't think anyone at 19 years old is really going through the best of times mentally. You know, things are changing, you're growing up into an adult, and I don't think a 19-year-old should be dating a 35-year-old. And to have this 35-year-old woman describing their relationship like this on here weirdly just shows that she also doesn't have the maturity level of a 35-year-old, but that doesn't change the fact that she is 35. And this shouldn't be happening. I again, not criminal, just think it's a little bit weird.
You need to get off later. You're saying stuff that people don't need to know.
Okay, well, I don't know where the mods are.
You need to get off soon, okay?
So yeah, the daughter clearly notices that her mother is speaking about her supposed crush again in a very explicit way, and she comes in stating that she needs to get off live stream. Now, number one to why this got a lot of criticism is the fact that Ashley speaking about these very explicit things is being spoken also to her children who are watching these live streams or are even in the back of the room with Ashley. And given some of the explicit things that she describes in her streams, this has warranted a lot of criticism. But also, I think this does just show that her child definitely was incredibly uncomfortable with the fact that her mother is now explicitly speaking about somebody that she, in good confidence, told her mother that she has a crush on this guy. To me personally, it almost feels feels like she's mocking her kid in this situation. She knows that it's gone too far already, but she just keeps on pushing the boundaries even further. And to me, it just displays once again the lack of care that Ashley has for her children. And the strange thing is this wasn't just a bit for TikTok Live where Ashley could bait in more attention and donations. No, this was actually a developing relationship between Santos and Ashley. And Santos actually does go on to confirm that they've actually had intimate calls.
I'm trying to add Ash right now. But yeah, me and Ash, we had an intimate phone call last night. Apparently, I didn't know she was on live while I was taking a shower. I didn't care. I was like, set my phone up and I just took a shower. Man, when you got a whole... No, I'm not gonna say that.
Look, I'm gonna say it again, and it's gonna sound a little bit brutal. Now, if you're watching this content, maybe I can understand it slightly, the car crash analogy and all that, but if you're donating money to this TikTok live stream, this style of content where they go like, donate to my live stream, if you're doing that, oh my, seek a job, please. I mean, you probably have a job because you could afford to donate the money. So instead, donate the money to me and then get a second job because I just don't understand it. You can see that he was getting a lot of donations, but yeah, he was also confirming that him and Ashley were getting intimate. And after this, their relationship only consistently developed even more during TikTok live streams where they would describe like their intimate activities with each other over the phone, over text, and you know how it just seemed that it was going to be a big hot spicy mess when they first met up, and met up they indeed did because yeah, eventually Ashley and Santos decided to, you know, put the live streams aside, put the texts aside, they're going to meet in person. And boy, oh boy, is this not just a perfect summary of internet relationships?
Oh my. Hey. How are you?
I'm dead.
Here, you grab hers. I'm like, you grab hers. Hi, nice to meet you.
Night? Is this prom night?
Not prom night.
This is prom night. The prom date coming to pick her up. He has security as he should.
Yeah, he does.
Remember, do your little, what did you say that day in your video? And I will have security.
I honestly think this is like the most beautiful representation of e-dating and e-relationships, and no hate to you if that's your thing, you know, we've all e-dated now and again. No, we haven't. But it's like that thing of where you're like, oh, I'm gonna do this and do that, and it's gonna be spicy, and then you meet up in person and it's just like, nice to meet you. Because yeah, obviously this is very, very, very not that intimate, to be honest with you, whatever this is. And even the comments here were pointing out the fact like they were so hyped just to be like, hey, how are you? But it did kind of seem that after this, Santos and Ashley were seemingly in some form of situationship. I am 27 years old, I shouldn't be using that word, or relationship, whatever you want to call it. They were seeing each other, intimate things were happening, and their relationship started to just gain more and more attention. Even Satan himself, Jeremiah Starr, actually found out about their relationship and got on live stream with Ashley, because yes, somehow Jeremiah had to be in this story.
Ash, where's he at, girl?
I have no idea. He's still at the mall, I guess. I haven't talked to him.
I can't breathe.
This feels like a really messed up clash in the multiverse, and I feel like any bad thing that's happened after this event can really be attributed to the fact that Ashley Trevino and Jeffree Star were in close proximity of each other. This shouldn't be happening. These two individuals should not know who they are, and because of this, I'm kind of convinced the world is going to end by like midway through 2025, maybe. But something that's hilarious about this live stream here is Jeffree Star actually received a lot of criticism for being on live with Ashley Trevino. People were coming into Jeffree's chat, that's how old I am, Jeffree's conversation, and stating Ashley Trevino is a really problematic individual, and basically criticizing Jeffree for platforming somebody so controversial. And I'm just sat there thinking, this is Jeffree Satan Jeremiah Jeff Star. This is the guy who invented controversial on the internet. Back in like 2005 on MySpace. Some of you probably don't even know what MySpace is. That's how far Jeffree Star's history goes back. And the fact that I now see people criticizing Jeffree for platforming someone controversial, it's kind of beautiful.
No idea what you guys are talking about. That's all I wanted to say for the record. I have no idea. Clearly you guys have a lot to say in the chat. I will do my research later. Xtina, I've never heard of this person, but they have a lot to say. Oh, wow. Oh my God, that's a lot. That's heavy. Oh my God, you guys are saying some really crazy stuff in the chat.
I mean, if there was a beautiful summary of Ashley Trevino, it's the fact that Jeffree Star thought that she was too much for him. Because this guy has basically been exposed and called out for practically every single thing that you could possibly think, and even he doesn't want anything to do with Ashley Trevino. But as I said, this interaction between Ashley Trevino and Jeffree Star has absolutely poisoned and cursed the timeline because, you know, Santos and Ashley, they had an absolutely beautiful, spicy relationship. But sadly, after this interaction with Jeffree Star, things started to go downhill.
No, I'm good. No, I'm good. No, I'm good. I'm good, bro. Like, you made me wait, really?
Bro, you think I wanted to? Bro, I did not want to make you wait. Honestly, I didn't slip at all.
Okay, well, just enjoy your night with them little hoes. No, because I made a fucking bracelet for you. For what? For what? For what? He knows he don't want to lose me. He don't want to lose me. He don't want to lose me. Because he knows if he loses me, it's over with.
Now, from my understanding to why Ashley was so incredibly mad at Santos was due to the fact that Santos agreed to spend Christmas with Ashley and Ashley's kids, which for one is, I guess, a bit of an upgrade. Congratulations, you're actually spending an event with your children. But of course, you know, Santos has to be there. But yeah, apparently she agreed that with Santos, but it turns out that Santos actually didn't turn up for Christmas, and instead, he decided to hang out with some random girls who he met through Instagram or TikTok. But it only gets hilariously worse when Santos actually attempted to earn Ashley's forgiveness by turning up to her house. But he didn't just turn up by himself. No, in fact, he brought the girls that he was with on Christmas with him.
He brought the girls.
Your daughters?
No. Hold on, I'm battling Heffa.
Oh, not her big head again.
Hey, come join me my lion, please. For Christmas.
You cheated. You cheated.
Oh, remember you owe me a lion for Christmas.
Bro, I fell asleep and oh my God, bro. I wake up and I'm like, damn, I'm in trouble.
Lies.
I'm so glad to see you for Christmas. I didn't get to see my daughter for Christmas.
Now, I think this perfectly encapsulates why a 35-year-old should not be dating a 19-year-old. Now, I don't have any doubts that obviously 35-year-olds cheat and they do ridiculous things, and some 35-year-olds are incredibly immature. Ashley Trevino is a great example of that. But I feel like more 19-year-olds are going to be getting up to incredibly immature and, you know, things like this pretty much, where they are hanging out with other girls when they're meant to be with the girl that they're seeing. It's not a justification for that behavior. But I think when a 19-year-old guy is at that age, they are definitely going to be at an age where you're going to look back on it in 5 years and think to yourselves, wow, I was in complete and utter bell end. So actually, maybe this is a lesson to learn. Don't date 19-year-olds when you are 35. I mean, there are also many of other reasons for that, but yeah, I don't think you should be doing this. But then again, if we take note of what Santos said at the end of the clip there, maybe these two are actually perfect for each other.
I'm so glad to see you for Christmas. I didn't get to see my daughter for Christmas.
Yes, another parent in this story not spending time with their kids when it is a major holiday event. I mean, honestly, I'm not really shocked. And yeah, I guess this is one thing that Ashley and Santos have in common. But Ashley and Santos' relationship only started to take even more of a decline after this situation when the police actually turned up to Ashley's house to investigate something that had been reported by live viewers in Ashley's live streams. Pretty much, the police turned up because apparently Santos was drinking on a live stream, and apparently Ashley was in that stream and the viewers saw it, and police turned up asking for ID, confirming that Santos' age was 19 years old, and the situation developed into something that could be considered incredibly serious, as Santos claimed that he may now lose his business due to this situation.
Thank you.
Just be a little more aware who you got coming here. People are watching, he's drinking, you provide to him, that's an offense.
Okay, but he's literally not even drinking.
Nobody's going to jail.
Okay.
I'm just saying. So y'all have a good night, okay?
Thank you.
Can I ask you something real quick?
What's up, man?
Is it against the law, just so you know? I put that sign up there for my daughter. For somebody to come.
You're goofy.
Now, in this situation in particular, I believe the police actually handled this pretty well. No one actually got arrested, nobody got charged, and they basically just said, you've got to stop drinking, because, you know, you're underage, he's 19 years old. And again, I think this also can come into the thing of, if you're 35 years old, I feel like the barometer of who you date should probably be, can they legally drink in your country? And if not, well, maybe consider somebody above the age of 21. But after the situation, a lot of people were criticizing Ashley due to the fact that she was being accused of providing somebody who was technically with alcohol, which of course would technically be a crime. But in fairness, the police were willing to just let this situation go for now, so I guess we will have to give Ashley the benefit of the doubt here. But also, I think we can be critical of the fact that, well, she was on live stream in the proximity of another individual who was below the age of the drinking age, and they were drinking. Now, maybe if it was a family member or something like that, you know, there's always going to be leeway. I know, you know, in Britain, honestly, it's really different. I mean, people drink here at like the age of 15, like it's just what happens in Europe. But in America, I understand there's a different culture surrounding that and people are far more critical. So in this situation, a lot of people were critical over the fact that she was allowing somebody who isn't a family member to drink on live stream with her. But what interests me even more about this situation is apparently this is when Ashley actually learned the real age of Santos.
And that I didn't know his real age. He told me he was 24. I believed it.
He told me that too, and he sent me his ID, which is
I seen that military ID. Yes.
Yeah, his military ID
until
was
the
fake.
until the cop told me how old he was, I never knew. And y'all could sit there and say, "Oh, she's lying. She knew." No, I didn't, because he showed me and Heffa the same ID off of live.
Now, a lot of people have been debating whether Ashley is telling the truth here or not, and a major argument used against Ashley here was the fact that Santos was allegedly drinking on live stream, but then when the police turned up, Ashley told the police that he wasn't. Now, why would she say that if she didn't know that he was 19 years old? There was really no reason to lie here. So to me personally, things aren't really adding up. Either way, I think it summarizes how careless that she is. And after this saga with the police, it kind of felt that their relationship or situationship had kind of come to an end, and things just started to decline even further. Ashley and Santos weren't really seen together in live streams for a very long time, but then on one occasion, Ashley did actually get on live stream with Santos, and firstly, a noticeable thing here is this guy is clearly visibly a 19-year-old. I don't care what anyone says, that guy does not look 24 years old. But also, on this live stream, they start speaking about Ashley's daughter, and Santos brings up something interesting, that he'd actually been having conversations with Ashley's daughter behind Ashley's back.
You be thinking about me, be honest.
No.
I got back with Shawty Bae, me and Shawty Bae are like locked in again.
I heard. I seen all the videos. You were calling her mommy and everything.
What? I can't have both of you at the same time?
I don't share.
Oh my gosh. And then Haley was calling me saying that she misses her stepdad.
Oh, I heard you gave me triple the views, huh? Is that true?
Now, my main question is, why does this random 19-year-old TikToker have the phone number of this 12-year-old girl, and why is he calling her if their relationship is no longer a thing? And even then, he uses the phrase of stepdad. He is not her stepdad. They've known each other for a few months, and he is calling her privately without Ashley knowing. That's an incredibly weird thing, and I don't think that that should be happening. And of course, Santos received a large amount of criticism for this, but also Ashley as well received criticism for this, because her response wasn't, telling him to not call her daughter. It was, just referring to the things that he had said to her daughter. There was no, hey, I don't want you to call my daughter. The first response that she made wasn't about her kids, it was about views on TikTok.
And then Haley was calling me saying that she misses her stepdad.
Oh, I heard you gave me triple the views, huh? Is that true?
I tripled your views.
Did I get paid with you though?
I mean, this just summarizes how unbelievably self-centered Ashley is and how egotistical she is. Any normal, sane human being would hear what Santos said and would say, stop talking to my daughter. But no, Ashley had to bring up TikTok views. But then the situation between Santos and Ashley only then continued to decline and get even worse when an even more serious situation started to develop where seemingly Ashley and Santos have both accused each other of SA, and it's a really weird situation because these are very serious allegations, but in every video of when they're talking about these things, it just seems to be played off as a joke where they're laughing and having fun.
Okay, but you said I SA'd you?
You said that about me.
No, you said
You said that about me.
Did I say you?
Answer this. You said that about me, yes or no? You said that about me on your live. That's all you said.
Hold on, my daughter's in here.
I mean, this is an incredibly weird way to deal with this situation. The fact that they're on live stream together speaking about this, it's just so strange and really does just summarize how much the TikTok algorithm can rot an individual's brain. Because yes, even though I have my criticism of Ashley prior to TikTok fame, I think she also has suffered a lot of TikTok brain rot, and this really does summarize it. The fact she's willing to get on a live stream with the person she's accusing somebody of a very serious thing, and the same thing can be applied to him, is just absolutely insane. And the situation on this live stream just develops into Ashley and her kids shouting at Santos, which again is just balmy considering the kids should just not be in this situation and should not know about these things.
Why? I didn't even know you until my mom. Yeah, we didn't know you, Haley. Oh wait, okay.
That's Cap. You told your mom something else.
Okay, shush. You're irrelevant though. You're irrelevant.
You say you.
Shut up, bro. Shut up. Bro. That ain't even funny, bro. Mom.
They're laughing, they're shouting, they're bringing up things like, you're irrelevant. I mean, what are we, back in 2016? This is just incredibly embarrassing to witness. To take something so incredibly serious like the allegations that they've been throwing around and just to turn it into this big TikTok mess is just so weird and so wrong. And of course, the community at this point were just getting even more angry at Ashley. People in the comment sections were just pointing out pretty much everything that I did just say about this being very weird. More YouTube videos were made about this situation, and the debate about Ashley and Santos' relationship is still ongoing to this day on TikTok. Some people are thinking that it was all real, some think it was all fake. Personally, I think they absolutely did engage in a lot of intimate activities, but I definitely do believe a lot of the things that they speak about on these live streams are definitely fabricated, because at the end of the day, Ashley's initial TikTok fame came from the fact that she was being known as the TikTok inmate hopper, but that would only be a trend for a very short space of time, and she obviously wants to prolong that fame so she can get more donations and just continue to get more popular without becoming irrelevant. So I think she has decided to just fake scenarios like this where they throw out very serious things against each other just to get the audience staying around and making sure donations still continue to flow through. And some will make the argument that this situation is real, but even if it was real, the whole handling of the situation has been absolutely terrible. For example, Ashley went onto a live stream to say that she didn't accuse Santos of anything.
You were talking about me? Did you accuse me?
No, I didn't say that. I never accused him of that. Y'all probably got the voices wrong, but at the end of the day, Santos is not like that. I've spent a couple nights with him, and he's not even like that. And he did not do anything. He's an amazing person. And at the end of the day, he's got.
Dad, I didn't even watch the live, so I don't know. Y'all keep saying yeah, she did, but I didn't watch the live. I seen a clip and someone was telling me that she said that. I don't believe the clips because they always twist the words and just clip like a certain part.
And we've already talked off of live, but like I said, Santos is not a bad person, you guys. If y'all don't like him, y'all don't like us talking. At the end of the day, I feel like y'all are just trying to ruin our friendship.
Now, I can confirm this is an absolute lie. People started to do some digging and they found a clip of where Ashley is seemingly admitting to these claims. I'm not going to play the clip just because of the detailed nature of it, and I don't want this video to get age restricted so nobody sees it. But in that clip, she says that Santos did some illegal things, and now she's backtracking on it in another live stream, and then they're getting on a stream with their kids to fight and debate and call each other irrelevant. It does just show to me that these very serious things aren't being handled with the care that they should be, and to me, I think it's because all of this is fake and just utter rage bait. I don't believe that these things are true, and honestly, you should not either. Overall, Ashley and Santos' relationship is clearly incredibly chaotic, and whilst I do think some elements of it are absolutely true, overall, I just again feel sorry for the children, and sorry for the type of people that actually consume this content in these live streams. But then moving away from this to the next section, we need to go into the final chapter of the darkest possible points of this rabbit hole, where I want to take a look at some random clips here and there that have gained some popularity over the last year just because of the sheer insane things that Ashley says in them. These clips are pretty much going to explain why so many people do not like Ashley, if all of the other clips haven't so far, because she goes into defending terrible people, criminals, some of the worst people you can possibly think of, and she also again says incredibly strange things about her children, which have only made more people worried and more people report Ashley to CPS. So yes, let's just get into the final chapter of where things just get even worse. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, congratulations, pat yourselves on the back. You have made it to the final chapter in this video, which of course is the insanity of Ashley Trevino. Now, as I said, in this chapter, what I want to do is explore a lot of clips that pretty much I have missed throughout this chronological timeline, and I've probably got a lot of people in the comments going like, you missed this, you missed that. Don't worry, I'm going to get through most of it. There may be some things that I miss, but I'm going to go through all of the main known things. And that sadly starts us off with the topic of Chris Watts, who is a disgusting individual well known for committing the crime of murdering his entire family. Now, of course, when any normal, regular human being hears that, they will immediately think this guy is the lowest of the low, a disgusting individual that should be in jail for the rest of his life. But Ashley has a different opinion to that.
¿Qué te importa, güey?
I just wanted to know.
He literally unalived his wife.
Okay, well, it's not my fault. Act like it's my fault. Maybe if he was happy, he would know.
Maybe if he was happy, he wouldn't have, is a genuine thing that she said on a live stream. And the thing is this wasn't like it's her live stream where she's begging for donations. She's just sat in the back of this stream just chilling on her phone. There's no gain from her saying these things. It's not like it's going to rage bait people into coming in and giving her loads of money when this isn't her stream. She's streaming with somebody else. This isn't where she's trying to get loads of attention. With the things going on with Santos, it feels that every stream that she did with another individual like Santos was planned, you know, there was an objective there. But this is just Ashley in the background of a stream saying something absolutely horrible. And to me, I think this is a legitimate thing that she believes. I think that she genuinely thinks that this terrible, disgusting individual is innocent, and maybe if he was happy, he wouldn't have committed the crimes that he did, which obviously is just prime victim blaming, but also just summarizes how disgusting Ashley truly is. Now, why I believe that she does things like this comes back to the whole inmate hopper trend. I think that Ashley has dated, as we've seen, a lot of terrible individuals, and she's trying to justify that to herself in her brain by saying things like this.
Maybe if he was happy, he would know. They just recorded that, huh?
You are mean. That was so mean. That episode made me cry.
It didn't make me cry. It made me fall asleep.
Firstly, let's just note the fact that at the beginning of that, she's like, they recorded that.
They just recorded that, huh?
Obviously, she just realized that she said something that she probably shouldn't have, and that's now going to get clipped to absolute eternity. But also, what she says at the end there of, it bored me to sleep. I feel like she's trying to spin this into a thing of the episode was boring, and that's why she said these things. But even that comment as well is just absolutely disgusting. And of course, this clip got a lot of attention. A lot of people were again being very, very critical of Ashley, and this is one of the things that she's absolutely renowned for, the woman who defends these terrible individuals. But it did not stop her there, where she went on other live streams to defend even more crimes.
If you're an adult and you're gonna cry it, and you're gonna come out in the public, let it be the same year that it happened. Okay? Don't wait 11 years later and then say, oh, well, he did this to me. I'm sorry, but half of those females I did not believe.
Now, the main belief to why people think that Ashley is saying things like this on live stream, again, comes down to the fact that Ashley has a well-known reputation of dating prisoners, in particular, dangerous prisoners, and some people think that what she is saying in this clip here is something that may have happened to somebody that she has dated in the past, or may even happen to somebody that she is dating right now. Now, that absolutely is not a justification for this whatsoever, and this is just absolutely, once again, prime victim blaming. And as disgusting as these statements are, they only continue to get worse and worse, where Ashley even went onto a live stream to defend predators.
Like, it's like one of my kids, say Haley, for instance. She meets a guy. She likes him. She wants to do something. The guy asks her, how old are you? She says, I'm 18 or 17. The guy believes it. And then I find out, I mean, honestly, if I find out my daughter's doing something, I'm not going to sit there and call the cops. I was her age at once. I was doing it, so. But, you know, more than likely, other races do that.
Mexicans aren't so bad about doing that, but other races do. Happened to one of my brother's friends. He went to prison. The girl was white. He was Mexican. The girl's mom found out that they were and cried. He ended up getting prison time. Just because somebody has that charge does not mean that they were kid.
I mean, yes, it does. If they have been charged, convicted, and they are now in prison for said terrible thing, then, you know, they more than likely did said terrible thing. There is no justification for this whatsoever. These defenses are just prime victim blaming, and again, I think it just does come down to her reputation of dating prisoners, and that is why she is on livestream defending these types of individuals. And the thing is with that clip, it doesn't even end there. There's just more and more victim blaming that comes afterwards.
It could be a teenager lying about their age. Everybody is so quick to like look up somebody's charges. Like if you were to look at my boyfriend's charges, you would see what he's in there for.
And yeah, there it is. I mean, it's clearly all coming from a sense of inner guilt, and honestly, it is just absolutely embarrassing. As a mother of two, 35 years old, are you just not embarrassed? Like, why would you get onto a public forum to say something like this? It's absolutely insane. But somehow it doesn't end there, because it starts to get to its absolute worst point of where Ashley, I'm just gonna let her say it.
Hey, can I ask you a question? Can I take you to my crib?
Sure, go ahead. Just don't get advantage of my
Wait, what you said?
Just don't make me a grandma and take.
I mean, on top of every way that she has carelessly mistreated her children, this just epitomizes the entire thing. This is an incredibly disturbing thing to even joke about to somebody. I don't think any sane, good parent would even think about making these jokes. It's just incredibly, incredibly disturbing, and once again brings the thought into my mind that the reason that she has defended so many terrible criminals is because that she herself has been criticized for engaging in behavior that could be considered predatory. But insanely enough, it doesn't end there when things really get just to the worst possible points. When Ashley starts to interact with yet again another prisoner called Francesco Montero, who is a disgusting individual known for two teenagers in 2018 and is serving 15 years in prison. Now, why Ashley is involved in this? Well, she decided to ring said prisoner on her phone and get on call with him and basically call him innocent and just basically laughed at the entire audience and laughed at the individuals that have been taken away from this world by this sick and twisted individual.
They won't let him out. Just kidding. He's locked up. I am. And they know that you're innocent, babe. I already said it out loud in front of everybody. There's 1.8K watching. Yeah, and you're innocent. He's innocent, you guys. I don't care what y'all say about him. He's innocent.
Babe, you're innocent, right? Until proven guilty. I'm just kidding. You're innocent.
She says innocent until proven guilty and then kind of corrects herself because then she realizes, oh wait, he has been proven guilty and he is serving a 15-year sentence for being guilty of said crime. Now, what she's doing in this is absolutely probably the most disgusting thing that I think I've ever seen her do throughout all of these situations, because she's actually conversing with this guy on her major platform with millions of followers. I know she has dated people who have committed serious crimes in the past, but something about actually getting him on live stream to call about this thing and calling him innocent and laughing and joking about it, it sickens me. And I know, like, sometimes, you know, we can go a bit overboard in situations, but this is one of those things where this is just... it's vile. It's absolutely vile. And after receiving a lot of criticism from this, she decided to get on another live stream where she basically implied the victims in this situation deserved it or had it coming to them.
Yeah, y'all know that the 13-year-old that happened to, she was a gang member? Did y'all know that she was already on trial for another? Did y'all know that?
It's insane to me that she's actually on a live stream trying to justify these crimes. It is... words can't explain how insane this is. And what makes it even wild is earlier in this video, we spoke about the fact that Ashley was basically begging for a second chance for somebody that she had dated previously. But when it comes to the person who is no longer with us, the person that she dated someone, and when it comes to that said individual, Ashley has no empathy. Ashley has no second look. It's no, guys, my new, I guess, boyfriend is absolutely justified and he's innocent because this person also did something bad. No, that's not how it works. That is disgusting. And this is when the backlash really started to amp up involving Ashley. People were just absolutely disgusted from what was going on here, and Ashley didn't apologize. Instead, she got on live stream and basically made it out that she didn't know anything about this situation and what crimes had taken place.
And then I asked him about it, and he was like, oh yeah. I was like, bro, like, I would like to have known this, you know? I didn't even know. I did not know anything about his victims until y'all brought it to my attention, and then I asked him. And he was like, oh yeah, well, let me tell you the story. So he told me the story over the phone. I was like, what the heck, you know? Like, but that's what he was going to trial for because he kept claiming he didn't do it. So you can't prove somebody guilty until they are proven guilty.
I'm sorry, this is absolute bollocks. We've seen both of the clips that we just went through before that clip. We know that Ashley knew about these things because she went on live stream trying to defend these things. And we're not stupid, Ashley. TikTok is forever. If your live stream is going to be recorded and uploaded onto all of these clip compilation channels. This is, again, I keep on saying it, but it is just nothing but absolutely disgusting. And you do have to start to ask the question of, did TikTok support this? She's getting donations and everything. Her platform's increasingly getting bigger and bigger. And with everything that we've gone through today, given how like nonchalant TikTok are when it comes to taking down people's accounts, I am really surprised that Ashley still has a permanent residence on TikTok. Especially when the content that Ashley is posting on TikTok is her on call with people going through very serious charges and absolutely is defending these individuals.
Oh my god, they said honestly rip to those who lost their lives. Why is it funny? Because y'all are sitting there posting that on my stuff. That's why it's funny. Because y'all are sitting there making it seem like some man guilty of that when he had nothing to do with that. So that's why it's so funny, because y'all are blaming somebody that's innocent.
I'm sorry, I can't believe that this clip exists and Ashley has the balls to go onto her platform and basically say that she knew nothing about any of these things.
I did not know anything about his victims until y'all brought it to my attention.
It's absolutely hilarious. Who are you lying to? Again, let's just replay this clip.
Oh my god, they said honestly rip to those who lost their lives. he had nothing to do with that. So that's why it's so funny, because y'all are blaming somebody that's innocent.
I mean, it's just insane. And of course, this was one of the biggest situations that got Ashley such a bad reputation and caused so many videos to be made about her. But in this chronological timeline that we've been going through, we are actually getting towards the ending of this story now. And to kind of wrap things up and end things, I want to go back to a story from the very beginning of this video, where I spoke about her ex-husband who had sadly passed away and was the father to her 2 children. Now, of course, when somebody passes away, there is a funeral. But mysteriously enough, Ashley was not invited to this funeral.
They'll be there with his family.
My mom's.
My family's going. My sister, my brother, my parents, my uncles, my aunts, my cousins. They're all going to be there. That's not right, Ash. I can tell. I am hurt. I'm hurt.
Baby, stop. Stop.
We never have to talk again. I really want to be there to hold my babies.
I'm sorry, but if you're the mother to someone's 2 children and that person passes away and you're not invited to the funeral but your entire family is, I think that summarizes everything that I need to know about you. I think it usually shows that something went on that means that the family do not want you at that funeral. And I am absolutely not wrong here, because she seems absolutely devastated that she hasn't been invited to this funeral, but then on the same stream like 20 minutes later, she is singing this.
My baby daddy. My baby daddy. Oh, mine's dead.
Now, this is so unbelievably deranged, because you have to consider the fact that this is the same live stream, the same day of where she was basically crying and being upset that she wasn't invited to this funeral, and then she's singing things like that. It's incredibly disturbing, and I think it pretty much summarizes everything that you need to know about Ashley Trevino. Even if you hadn't have got all of the information that I've given you so far, I think that that clip alone is a good way to show you that this individual is one of the most deranged TikTokers I think I have ever had the misfortune of coming across. To kind of conclude everything that we've gone through today, I do believe that Ashley is probably the worst TikToker I've ever had the misfortune of covering, and I've covered a lot of terrible individuals, but Ashley she is just the prime example of making the wrong person famous. And the thing is this story is going to constantly develop. There's going to be more and more things that come out after I release this video, but I think that this is a great summary of everything you need to know about Ashley Trevino. So yes, this has been the story of Ashley Trevino, the TikTok inmate hopper, who I don't believe is exactly the best of individuals. And with that, my friends, I'm going to call it a day there and bring this video and story to an end. I would love to know your thoughts down below, and if I have missed anything, please comment it down below. Let people know what you think about this situation. Let people know about anything I've missed out. And yeah, thank you very much for coming along. Please subscribe to this channel, and please do me a favor of liking this video and commenting down below. You know, sometimes people may not like, and I understand it, but when I put in all this effort in these videos, I'd really appreciate it. So please, if you could do me the favor of doing that, that would be amazing. And if you want to go a step further, please as well, go subscribe to my podcast Over the Pond, which I do with Obese to Beast, and we have recently released an episode all about this situation. So if you want to go get that, please subscribe. It should be up next. Thank you very much. There are plenty of other videos on my channel covering a lot of stories coming from TikTok, such as people like Alphabet, and pretty much any other insane TikToker that you can think of. That is the end. Again, thanks for coming along. Peace out. Have a great week. Bye-bye.